Carolyn has lived in 4 countries and has learned to love the diversity of this world. It is languages, cultures, and cuisines. If leaving home isn't always possible, why not invite the world to our home? This is speech number 8, Get Comfortable with Visual Arts, with Carolyn. AIDS.
Heinous mistake.
There you go. Carolyn Block. Absolutely. You want to move the table?
Yes.
Okay. Let it fall.
Let's get a grab that over.
Yeah, he's doing it all there. Guess I should have asked 2 people. Very good. Very
He wants to turn it
strong,
around.
John. Oh, it's
Okay,
backwards.
only one thing fell.
It's backwards.
I think it actually is visual arts.
You were right the first time.
So how many of you love to travel? We know Kevin loves to travel. How, the rest of you love to travel? How many have been east of the Mississippi? How many have left the country? Oh, wow, so we have some good. Did you raise your hand back there, Michael? Have you left the country? Fantastic. I grew up in Iowa, and as you may know, that's not next to the ocean, it's not next to the mountains. And I talked to my kids about how I dreamed about how fun it would be to someday see the ocean. Or someday even see a mountain. And of course, they all grew up in Utah, so they think that is the silliest dream of childhood. But I have to tell you, I have loved the opportunity to travel. And right here, you may be wondering, what on earth are all of these things that I'm displaying? Well, some of you may not be aware of this, but I have 8 children. And it was not easy to leave the house and get babysitters when you have 8 children. And not only do I have 8 children, but I have 8 extremely adventuresome children. So let me tell you a little story about how adventuresome they are. So we are living in Switzerland. I have 3 children at this time. The oldest is only 4 years old. And we live in an apartment building, as many people do. And thankfully, this is a good tip for you to know if you're ever raising your children in Switzerland, they love to watch out the window. And it did not take long for me to just turn my back, and my 4-year-old Jeff, he was gone out that front door. To him, the world was his playground. It wasn't just in the living room, it wasn't just in the hallway, it wasn't just outside the front door of the apartment complex. It was wherever he wanted to go. We'd been living there about a couple of months, and there was a at the door. So I answered the door, and there was a young boy outside our door, and he said, "My teacher wants you to come to our classroom." I thought, "Your teacher? How on earth do you even know where I live?" And he said, "Oh, Jeff, he comes and visits our school all the time, and he loves hanging out in our classroom, and we want to sing you a song." It just so happened that we lived on the 2nd floor, and there was a little balcony, and from that balcony was a little alleyway, and across the alleyway was the elementary school and the playground. And if you're 4 years old and you see swings and you see kids out playing, of course, where are your friends going to be? At the school. So naturally, I grabbed the other kids, because he was already there, and we went to the school, and they sang "My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean" in their cute little Swiss accents. That was our Switzerland experience. A few months later, we moved to Vienna, Austria. It did not take long before Jeff was out discovering his neighborhood again and making new friends. Just so happened this time, we had a little corner market down the street, maybe about, well, on this street, it was not separate houses, it was all one row of families. Some of those dwellings still used oil and had outhouses, and some of the dwellings actually was the rubbish trucks and the city vehicles on this street. But there was a little corner market. And it didn't take Jeff long before the lady that ran that little corner market became his friend. So 6 o'clock in the morning, his eyes would pop open, out the door he went in his pajamas, and making a new friend at the corner market. It didn't also take very long before there were hours that went by, and I had no idea where he was. So naturally, who did I have to call? The police. And just as the policeman showed up at my door, there's Jeff toddling inside with a little grandma behind him. He'd been out visiting. She had this fluffy dog like in the play Annie, and she had lots of toys, and he loved to visit her. He loved taking her flowers when we were at the market and bringing her treats and surprises. Those were his friends. So Jeff kind of set the trend for us to, why not have the world be our playground and our circle of friends? And as I said, with 8 kids, I really didn't have many people who wanted to tend children who ran away all the time. So I had to figure out a strategy to bring the world to us. So we had exchange students from all over the world, sometimes for a year, sometimes for a few weeks, sometimes they were musicians. Recently, we hosted Shiho Han. He was an international competitor in the Gina Bachauer piano festival. He won 2nd place. We got to host him at our house. We got to hear him practicing the piano. It was so much fun. We consider him one of our sons now. We have 6 now. We have a 7th. We have actually many sons because many of the exchange students we had were boys. This right here was from our exchange student from Taiwan. Do anyone know what this is called? Do you know what it's called? Kendama. Do you know what it does? So he taught us, he spent hours doing this, and there's different sizes of them, there's different size balls with them, but taught us this game that's so popular in the Asian countries. And you spin the ball, and then it can either land up here, land on there, land behind there. You could do it in order, and it's really quite fascinating. Has anybody ever tried it before? One of the things that I have loved about welcoming all these people from around the world is that our children have gotten very accustomed to having people come to our house. So naturally, they see anyone that comes to our house as a new friend. They know how to engage with them. They know how to ask them about their cultures. They have loved that experience so much that they have decided to travel abroad. When our son was 15, he decided he just wanted to go to Tahiti. Thankfully, we knew a family that lived in Tahiti. He had a corn stand where he sold grilled corn, made enough money that he could buy his plane ticket, went by himself to Tahiti. Not only did he go to Tahiti, he went to Bora Bora, he went to Moorea and swam with the sharks. I told him to bring me something. So anytime I want to feel like I'm in Bora Bora, here's some sand. Anytime I want to visit Tahiti, here's a little Tahitian black sand. And anytime we want to have some ethnic foods, here's what one of our exchange students made for us, a recipe book. And she took pictures and explained to us how to make a special pork dish with potatoes and special seasonings. She took pictures and wrote directions for us so we know exactly how to make it. I've loved the opportunity to understand more about other cultures. China, here's some of the places our sons have served missions. Other people from Holland. Postcards I got from a family, and it's been a wonderful experience. I'm grateful for the opportunity to see the world as our playground and everyone as our friend.